these two guys over here,
Dan Stevens.
Derek. And what Onyx is, I'll get into here in a minute. And before I get into this whole presentation spiel, awesome, there's my cats. I want to tell you a quick story about something that happened a couple weeks ago. So I'm a recent transplant to Washington, D.C., and I was just going for my annual health checkup. And I went to this brand new hospital, took a lift to get there, and then I find the information desk, puts in my name, she's like, oh, you're in another wing. And she tells me between 12 and 15 steps to how to get to this thing. Like, just, there was no brochure, nothing. So I was like, okay. So I make my way, I have to go out of the hospital, I have to walk across campus, and long story short, I end up in, I pushed through some doors, couldn't get back out of those doors. I was like locked in, I swear, I was locked in, the lights were flickering. Before, I'll load up the presentation.
Did you get there?
I did. Luckily,
You didn't miss the appointment.
my mother imparted on me that it was always going to be on time, so I was like 30 minutes early. But I was still 5 minutes late, of course. But nonetheless, we made it. Before I fire up this presentation here, how many people in the past 2 weeks, a show of hands, have used Uber, Lyft, Google Maps to find a restaurant, Uber Eats, some sort of Google Maps service in the past 2 weeks? Everybody, right? How many people in the past 2 weeks have used Google Maps to navigate through the inside of a building? Probably no one, right? And up until recently, this technology, other than a few key places in the States, probably throughout the world, Empire State Building is one actually, where you can go inside and, thanks Derek, and navigate through the building. So Google actually went in, they had Google engineers go in and map out the floor plans and do all this work, and it's available on maps.google.com. But that being said, it's never really been made available in sort of a private setting. So if you want to embed this into your university website or hospital, if you want a native app, this functionality historically just hasn't been available. So today I'm going to talk to you about my company, Onyx, who's a Google partner. We've been one since 2002, been around since the early 90s, operate US and Canada, and we're primarily a cloud consulting company. And Derek, Dan, and myself work with Google Maps, and we basically build applications and do consulting services around Google Maps. Maps people, they've been around a little bit longer, since 1897. They're from Denmark.
Before the internet.
Yeah, they're from Denmark. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, they're from Denmark.
Paper
and
maps.
actually, yeah, we're making paper maps. They made the first web map in Europe, which then, of course, I mean, obviously, various technologies sort of became popular, and how Google's kind of, I guess, the standard. So these two guys met them in Las Vegas, and I think this will give some really good context. So every year, Google has a team meetup. So they have their whole enterprise team, cloud, Google Apps, Google Maps, thousands of employees. It's all their partners throughout the world. And this 2 years ago was in Las Vegas. This is where Derek met Maps people. So you would think that a company like Google, when they're building an indoor navigation with all these casinos, all these different floor plans, all these moving parts, that Google is really like, oh, we're going to throw 200 engineers at this, and we're going to get it done. But they didn't. They reached out actually to Maps people to design the floor plans, basically take a bunch of CAD files and digitize them, style them, and get them up into a content management system, which is where you can manage points of interest and basically, without any real technical know-how, you don't have to program, log into this system and edit floor plans, and then make it live in an application pretty seamlessly. I think you can go to the next slide here. So I don't like slides, so I think there's one more, but I'm going to get into the demo pretty quick here. So basically the point of what I'm trying to make here is that with floor plans, whether it's a university, hospital, warehouse, what have you, that coupled with the Maps and Doors CMS, which I'm going to show you, can give you a really great application that's easy to deploy, and it's super cost effective and does just a lot of the work for you. Next slide, please. I think it's the last one. Yeah. So yeah, basically, I'm not going to read this slide, so I'm going to get into the demo here. All right, so what I'm going to basically do here, and I have to be transparent that this is a demo environment. Obviously, I don't want to be manipulating data in a live application. I'm going to be showing you something that was recently deployed for the City University of London. So what I'm going to walk you through first is sort of the end solution. Keep in mind that this is the demo version, and then I'm going to kind of walk you very quickly through the CMS and how basically you can go in and edit things, create points of interest, and essentially navigate to where you want to go on campus in this case. So let's get into it. So right now, I mean, this looks like maps.google.com, right, for the most part. You've got some street view images of the campus. Dive in here. What's going to be interesting is that as I zoom in, these floor plans actually look like they're just part of Google Maps. The reason being is they're just designed well. And so basically what you're seeing here is a custom overlay on top of Google Maps that what I'm going to show you right here, it's going to make everything available from rooms, from points of interest, and I'm going to show you how to navigate there. So let's just, for the fun, select Bun Hill Row. This is obviously a building, City University of London. And as I select that building, you're going to see all of these different points of interest pop up. And as I zoom in more and more, you'll see more. But again, these icons, pretty hard to distinguish between like this and Google, right? And again, I think that's on purpose. I think it looks really nice and it integrates well. So what I can do from here is I can actually select by category, or I can go and click a point on the map, which I'll just do here. And I am going to show you how, if I am a student at the City University of London, how I can navigate to this place using a combination of Google Directions APIs, and it's going to walk you step by step to get to this room here. So let's do it. Directions. Now, first, what's really cool, so I don't know who's here's familiar with London, but I studied abroad like 13 years ago, but I lived sort of near Piccadilly Circus, so I'm going to use that as a point of reference. It's where the giant, the giant wheel is, right. So, let's say I'm a student, I live near Piccadilly Circus. Actually, let me go back a little bit here. What's cool, what I want to point this out is, so what you're seeing here are all of the points of interest coming from the CMS that I'll walk you through in about 2 minutes. So, kind of looks similar to Google's Places API. You know, if you're on maps.google.com and you're typing, this list looks sort of similar, but it's actually coming from the content management system. So if I keep going, let's say I want to find Piccadilly Circus, which obviously isn't a place on the City University. Notice it looks the same, but these results are actually coming from Google's Places API, which is by far the largest point of interest database on the planet. Okay? So I'm going to select this place. Again, I don't have to type the whole thing, which is super nice. Let's say I just broke my legs. I need to avoid stairs. And I can navigate to this place quite seamlessly. So what you're going to see here is step-by-step directions brought to you by the Google Maps API, but the directions But what's really cool is this right here. So what you're seeing right here is actually not Google Directions API. This is a network that was built by Maps people. So the City University of London submitted their floor plans. Basically, Maps people and I have worked with you to find out where's the network, where do you want people to be able to navigate to and from, and it's all built within the CAD files, PDFs, or whatever you submit. So in short, I just showed you how a student with 2 broken legs can get from Piccadilly Circus to his destination on campus. I did forget to mention that this is extremely mobile friendly. It's built in HTML5. They do have Maps people does offer native SDKs. So you could build a native experience if you like. So now that I kind of walked you through the application, I am going to quickly show you the CMS because I know I don't have a ton of time here. So again, this looks a lot like maps.google.com. We're at Bunhill Row, the building I just showed you. We're going to go in and basically I'm going to walk you through the process of creating a place. Okay? So let's say we're having an event right outside of the building. We're having a speaker. I can create a new location. I can go in. I can select an icon. For the sake of this, let's just say it's a professional consultant that's on campus. And I can create a new location. I can go in, I can provide it, since it's on the ground floor, we'll leave it on the ground floor. I can give it a category. I can give it a name, a certain description, you know, what have you. I can, and then I can make it active actually for a certain amount of time as well. So if the campus, if you know, like I said, if it's consultant on campus for 24 hours, or you can make this icon active for 1 day. Then I simply publish that, or save it, and then publish it. And basically, this would push to our application, and now our students are able to go in and, actually I don't think I selected an icon here, or I did select an icon, I just don't know why it's not showing up. Live demo, of course. Let's just call it facility. And we'll save.
So the general idea is like for the Bronx Tech Showcase, for anyone that has access to the Bronx Maps and Doors application, if they had this on campus, they could put an event in for just a day, have it on timer, and people would search that and it would autofill with the Bronx Tech Showcase, show you where things like that.
So this would require institutions to provide appropriate floor plans.
Right.
This building was built recently, the others were built decades ago.
And that's really like
So
that's really like the secret
that would
sauce
be-
that Maps people has, right? Like these guys have been doing maps since they were on paper, so there's yet to be a file that they can't clean up. Most buildings, the engineers design them, they have some kind of CAD file, and there's a billion different versions of CAD. You can remove water lines and kind of clean them up, and that's really kind of the secret sauce here is the CMS and the digitizing the maps and making the maps look googly, for lack of better words, and that's really what Maps people does because they've been creating maps, you know, since before the internet. So usually if we get a PDF, a CAD file, even a PNG, we can make it work. And that's kind of where, yeah,
How
the
does
floor plans are always the hardest part. is
how does
getting-
it work for things on different locations? Like we have a weird building
Mhm.
where the ground floor is the 5th floor because it's on a hill.
Yeah.
So like when you go in, if you want to tell someone, you like take them over to the elevator icon.
Yeah. Yep.
And then like whoop, whoop, and then so if you go up the elevator, does it know?
Yeah, so
Because I
like,
mean, Google Maps doesn't work very well for different
Mike, why don't you
vertical
talk about that?
distances.
No, right, exactly. So, and what I did not do a good job of is you can see here in the
Yeah,
solution
okay, yeah,
that
there you go.
you can select different floors. So if I were to select, I'm going to try
So
this.
not only does Maps people, to elaborate on that, not only do they create the maps and clean them up, they put them in this googly format, right? They actually, So Google has an inherent routing service that Mike alluded to earlier, which is being shown there, the directions API. That's a Google service, right? You query the service, Google uses their database to give you directions. Maps people creates a similar route network, consulting with our end customer to say, how could people go? And they create this network that then they can then talk to and do exactly what you're asking. Take them to an elevator, it knows to go to the second floor where this other room is, so they essentially build that into the design so that the directions work that way and it knows how many floors there are.
Yeah, and so basically what you can see here, I didn't press avoid stairs. Had I, that it would have given the elevator option, but since this is calculated that the stairs will be faster, since I selected a higher level floor, it's giving you those step-by-step directions to actually take the stairs to get to your destination. But yeah, you're right, exactly. Google can't really decipher like getting or altitude. Yeah, it's not easy to do that.
In this case, it's nice because they build the network, so we're not creating a real huge drain on a battery from a device where you're picking up a GPS signal, right? So it's not really tracking a person or your cell phone, and that's kind of scary, right? But you're not really being tracked, and that's not how it's necessarily working. So there's no battery drain. It's minimal use from if you put like a native app on your phone.
I could walk you through a ton of features in terms of like accessing, you know, I guess security and access features, and how if you're, let's say, an intern and you want to go in and make some edits that you wouldn't have access rights to do that. So the next day someone could come in and, I don't know, let's say it's the director of IT or something. He sees that these edits have been essentially pushed, and he can basically accept them, go check them out, do those types of things.
Sorry, this gentleman.
I have a question.
Sure.
Are you working, well, let me start with this. In our campus, we're exploring the use of beacons.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was just gonna bring that
With
up.
beacons, so it tells you where you are.
Right.
And
So
integrated
the
into
cool thing with this solution is a lot of people have looked at beacons, and beacons are expensive as hell because it's hardware, and there's no standard for beacons yet, right? It's kind of, there's a bunch of people dipping their toe in the water, but there's no like, this is the beacon that everyone's going to use. So it's kind of volatile, right?
Bless you.
The beauty of this solution is all of that routing that you're seeing doesn't require any beacons at all. So the investment is far less significant than hardware and maintaining hardware, and how many beacons do I buy, and then I have to worry about hardware technology. Now, the cool thing about the CMS is we're working with hospitals, we're working with Dell right now for their corporate headquarters. They're set on beacons. The cool thing with beacons direction, like the line that's being drawn on the map right now that's called a polyline in the mapping world, you can actually then with beacons get real turn-by-turn navigation. So you could be a user and see the little blue dot on the map, and I walk to the corner and it says, hey, the bathroom's on your left, turn left here, and get that speech detect voice.
But there is integration.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
All different types of beacons. There's some I know that are coming out that are like built into lights and the standalone beacons.
It really, yeah, it depends on how granular you want to get. I mean, beacons I think are really cool in the retail space, especially. So if you have, I don't know, a Whole Foods app or something and you download it, there's beacons sometimes installed, and you can actually manage that content in the CMS too. So if you wanted to push an update to, you know, your students that, FYI, they walked into building X, there's a fire drill today at 2 p.m. Like you could totally do that. You know, as long as they had the app on
But
their
it
phone.
doesn't detect, for example, with GPS, you can detect the elevation you're in. It doesn't detect what floor you're in.
With the beacons, they can detect which
With
floor you're
beacons,
on.
yeah.
So without, like what you're doing here is actually doing step-by-step directions. So if you came out of the elevator, you would press next, and it would say, turn right out of the elevator.
Okay, and like 70% of the time, I would say this is enough. Like if a student has this app, they have enough reference to get where they need to go.
Yeah.
But let's say it's a giant 970 cube, one floor office. Beacons can be super helpful there, I guess. Like if it's just kind of a cluster, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's one of those things. I don't want to say we try to dissuade people from going the beacon route, but it's more work. It is.
With this, sir, this is great for within the buildings, if we're looking at something for a campus wide, and we have Google Maps that maybe they don't, no cars probably knows like come on campus. right? So like, okay, we've got a nice new quad, but you don't see the pathways or things like that. Can those things, that are not buildings,
Yeah.
like they're just a
So,
template of the
Yeah, I
campus?
know exactly where you're
You
going,
can
just the whole
add-
campus. Yeah, you can, so when we go through
There's a club
a
event.
section, there's floor plans of buildings, but we can look at, hey, you know, we're working with a customer who's like, this fountain is really historic and everyone goes to this fountain, we need to know how to get to this fountain. So essentially what's happening on the back end is we're building all these endpoints and these designs that then become navigation endpoints. So if you said, yeah, this fountain and all these POIs that we have on campus are really important, they can show up.
So whatever plans have been submitted can be used to make these temporary landmarks?
Yep, absolutely, absolutely.
The last thing I want to show you guys real quick, because I know we're up on time here, and again, we'll be at lunch so we can talk more, is any of you out there have a Gmail address? Would you mind?
If you don't mind spelling a long name, Eva
Okay. Hold on one sec. Eva.
at, let's actually do that one, sorry. Eva dot A-N
A-N-T-O-N
T-O-N A-K-O-S.
K-O-S
Easy.
at Gmail. Okay. And this is a new feature. This is kind of actually, yeah, it's in beta. I'm gonna send it to you, Dan, too, just to.
Okay.
But you can send this to multiple people. I think this is super. This is super powerful. It is only for Google users right now. For
Does it have to be a Gmail or can it be?
G
Google?
Suite, it could be a G Suite.
So our
For EDU, yes.
yeah, we have Google Apps for Business essentially. So our email domain is onyxnet.com. So it's still going to be
If you- if
recognized.
Google hosting is good.
Right, exactly. It's the mail
I
server,
think the
right?
whole Kubi network is on Microsoft right now, but G Suite, like Google Gmail and Google Apps, Google Docs, that's all like free for the EDU space. So there's been a lot of migration there, so we want to make sure it integrated with that.
Let's
You gonna write this note?
yeah, right. So basically, what I'm doing here is essentially is when I log in, I can see my schedule, and then I can essentially select a room, which I just did, right? And then I can push invites to individuals, and I'm hoping here, and this was actually just released yesterday, so let's hoping here in the next 30 seconds you guys
There'll be
receive.
meeting, classroom change, special presentation, you know, just two employees trying to connect for lunch, whatever the case may be.
Did you receive an email?
Even like reserving in our library, like I know when I was in school, we used to reserve study rooms.
So
in
if
the
you,
library.
yeah, and you can actually go in and select the hyperlink, and it will you can hit directions, and it will navigate you to this room, to London. Actually, yeah, no, it won't. No, it won't at all. But if you were in London, it could swim.
Alright, yeah. Get on a boat.
Get that Gmail notification, and then it'll also be on your calendar as well.
Yeah.
So.
It is a new feature.
Maybe, because-
Yeah, I think it's super cool. I know our time is up right now, guys, but thank you so much for your time.